Welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here, and today we're back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 cast. Today we have a Protoss versus Protoss on the map Invader. So, without further ado, spawning in the top right corner, we have Team Ascension's DatBoiTesla, and spawning in the top left corner, we have Flipside's MCanning. So, we've got one of the close but far maps here as we've had before in previous games I've cast. We've got a very close air distance on these maps, so something such as Phoenix or Oracles or really anything in a Protoss versus Protoss can allow damage to be done early on in this game. And now on this map, players can either spawn directly below or directly across from each other. By directly across, I mean vertically across, so that it's not like MCanning could spawn here and Tesla could spawn over here. So they know that they're either spawning close by the air or close by ground, I guess is the way to put it. Anyway, we have DatBoiTesla moving out with probe scouts to both possible bases where MCanning could be. So he's just really seeing what's going on here, and now he's, interestingly enough, actually opening up with a forge. And he's going to be throwing down a cannon, it seems like. That's why he sent out 2 probes here. So this is a very bizarre opening for a Protoss versus Protoss here. We have a cannon rush, which is something that's not been very common in Legacy of the Void, and definitely not very common in Protoss versus Protoss. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Now, he actually walled the probe in, but then used the pylon placing and cancel trick to get the probe out. And now MCanning's seen this. He's saying, okay, what's going on here? You're building cannons in my base. This is Protoss versus Protoss. This shouldn't be happening. Anyway, MCanning opened, I believe it was 2 gateways, but then he canceled one of them, actually. So now he's in a bit of an interesting spot. He's making a Zealot to deal with this, but so many cannons are going down for DatBoiTesla, and MCanning could take a lot of serious damage here. Like, this is 5 cannons on the way. And so the Zealot's going to start to go to work on this. Really, if it wants to take something down, it should really focus the pylon, because that's going to be powering all these cannons. Anyway, so now we have a photon overcharge coming out for MCanning here, because his mothership core did finish, and it's going to start working away on these cannons with such high damage. But it is going to end up going down, and this is a terrible spot, is really all I have to say for MCanning. He's in such a bad position. So really the only thing I could think of would be for MCanning would be to get out more photon overcharges to stabilize, maybe get out an Adept and send it across the map into DatBoiTesla's base, but he's going for a wall off here. He's getting up his own gateway now, so he's not going to be completely defenseless on his side of the map, and it's the Nexus just going to go down. What is this? Okay. So this is what's happening. I cannot believe this, to be honest. We have a Nexus going up on the other side of the map for MCanning here. Like, this game seems over. MCanning does not have a base. All his probes are completely trapped by pylons. And DatBoiTesla is building more pylons and cannons in MCanning's base. Like, he's getting up his gateways. He'll throw up a cyber core soon, and he's just gonna macro out of it. He's gonna say, okay, you've got all these probes over here, but MCanning is playing this out. He's technically in a decent well, no, really not. He's in a terrible position. I don't know how. Okay, this is, oh my god, this is insane. MCanning, so smart here. He's thinking, anyway, I can come back into the game, so he recalls with his mothership core to the new Nexus he made. That went completely over my head, I'm sorry. And now he's going to start building a base over on this side of the map. He's throwing up 2 gateways. He does have a cybernetics core. So, as crazy as it is to say, this game, MCanning's not in a terrible position here. And not to mention that Tesla has no idea where MCanning built this Nexus. He knows he recalled all the probes, but there's not much else for him to do. And anyway, so smart of Tesla here. He's throwing up another cannon, which will take it down this cyber core, and maybe even 3 pylons here. So this is going to be some great damage done. It's going to force MCanning not to spend on units. And so anyway, MCanning getting up his gases once again. DatBoiTesla's on 2 gases, so really he can do anything. He might want to just try to end the game here as he's getting up 3 gateways and warp gate research, so he might try to go for some sort of pseudo all-in. That is, once he finds where MCanning is, and now he's actually just finding where MCanning is. He goes into the space and he's saying, seriously, how does this happen? This is insane. I was very confused. I was like, did I sign up to cast a 2-minute game that would be over for MCanning? No, MCanning is still casting this game. We actually see more pylons being thrown down for DatBoiTesla in the base of MCanning. He's insane here. He's thrown up 3 pylons, but the probe's just sitting out here, so it's not going to do anything really. It's just sitting there. And so that was really a waste from DatBoiTesla, as he didn't throw up any cannons to follow it up. So he sort of donated those pylons. He's going to get vision from these to know what's up. Now, interestingly enough, MCanning is ahead on tech here. Well, sort of. He's got a Robo Bay where DatBoiTesla is going for Blink, but no research here. And MCanning actually had his warp gate finish, so this is very interesting. And now we see another pylon trying to be thrown up for DatBoiTesla. He wants to get aggressive here, but once this pylon goes down, he's going to have nothing, and oh my god, this game could not get any more insane here. So we have a gold base going up for DatBoiTesla. He's saying, okay, this game can't get any more weird. I'm not going to be able to kill MCanning here, so why not take a third base that is, a natural base that is ridiculously far away from my main base. Like, if MCanning discovers this and moves out to try and do any damage to this, it's done for. It is completely done for, but we'll see how this game plays out anyway. So, Tesla was trying to pressure in with those stalkers, but the pylon was canceled, so MCanning just manages to get up his natural base. He's going to macro out of this. And I guess this game's sort of going to go to macro. Now, we actually see the probe transfer. MCanning has seen the probe transfer for DatBoiTesla. And so he's going to say, okay, where are those probes going? Does he have a super quick third base or something that I should worry about? So that observer is turning around to see what's going on. He sees, okay, no third base here. Maybe there's one over here. Really, he's got... But what's happening here is DatBoiTesla is going to start mining off this gold base to get those extra minerals, but that was a very long probe transfer, so he did lose some mining time there. But this investment is going to start to pay off as this game continues on. Now, we have MCanning going for a warp prism while DatBoiTesla is just getting up his Robo Bay at the gold base. Oh my god. He is building his Robo Bay in the middle of the map next to his gold base after he just cannon rushed MCanning out of his main base. So, we see MCanning starting to build up this immortal account. He's got the warp prism out. Where did that warp prism go here? Oh, he must have canceled that. He either canceled that warp prism or he lost it. And I don't think he lost it, to be honest, so this is very, very interesting here. Maybe he lost it. I actually didn't catch that, unfortunately. But regardless, he does not have a warp prism, but he is starting to build up this immortal count, sentries, and that's going to be better than the blink stalkers in which Tesla just has right now. But Tesla now getting a robotics bay. He's going to be going for disruptors likely, possibly Colossus, but most likely disruptors here. And now he's getting his +1. He's transferring more probes over to this gold base as his main base is starting to mine out. And he doesn't have his natural at almost the 9-minute mark in a Legacy of the Void game. This is insane. So, now MCanning moving out with a hallucinated Phoenix just to scout, because he still hasn't seen that gold base, so he does not know where those probes were transferring to. And soon this hallucination is going to expire and he'll still be left wondering. MCanning's observer was actually just picked off there, I believe, as well, so not a very good situation for MCanning. And MCanning has lost a lot more resources, but understandably so. I mean, he lost his main nexus, he lost all those pylons, gateways, and cybercore, but MCanning, like, if I started a cast here in this game, I'd say, okay, if I jumped into this game and didn't look in the top left, I'd say, okay, I guess this is a bit of an interesting game. The gold base has been taken, but MCanning, it's gone into a completely normal macro game because MCanning recalled down to the bottom left here. So this is an interesting position we've never seen before. This is Very different. And now we have Tesla pushing in with these Blink Stalkers, gonna try to do some damage here, but there's a good immortal count. 3 immortals is gonna tear through these 10 Stalkers here if they try to take a fight. But now we have double Robo. Why throw down 1 Robotics Bay at your gold base in the middle of the map when you can have 2 and start producing double Disruptors, which is exactly what Tesla is doing. Meanwhile, MCanning getting up his own Disruptor, so it's going to go into that Protoss versus Protoss, Disruptor Blink versus Disruptor Blink here. Which is very, very interesting. But now, if we actually look at this, these gold bases do not last forever, and the main base is mining out. So we're seeing a 3rd base thrown up for Tesla, which is actually his natural base, which should normally be his 2nd, but this is very interesting. Like, I have never seen a gold base taken on this map before. Sure, there's plenty around, but they're in such a bad spot to take it. But simply MCanning still... Okay, MCanning has seen this now, but he doesn't really have a way to punish it. Meanwhile, those Stalkers of DatBoiTesla still continuing to pressure here, blinking in, but now MCanning reveals his own blink, so Tesla now knows, okay, I can't really overcommit with these Stalkers by blinking in or anything, otherwise MCanning Stalkers will catch mine. But the Stalkers coming in, picking off 2 warping in Stalkers, then blinking out. So a good trade, seemingly, for Tesla. Now it's been 2 to 3 Stalkers here. Tesla gonna try to pick off another, so that was 4 Stalkers for 2, so a great trade by Tesla. But now it seems that MCanning might be wanting to push out here at the very least. His Stalkers are actually going to try to blink down and try to pick off another of Tesla, but reinforcing Stalkers coming in for Tesla here. MCanning is now outnumbered, and soon all these Disruptors and Immortals are going to run in, so MCanning has lost a lot of Stalkers here. 3 of them managed to blink out in time, but that is 4 Disruptors that have come out of these double Robotics bays, now being followed up by 2 Immortals. Both players on +1 here, but this is definitely a position which MCanning should not be trying to push out. He does have these force fields here, but the Disruptors and Blink Stalkers will be able to move around them by all means here. So now we have Disruptors being launched in. After 1 hit goes down on MCanning's army, his Immortals are bruised up, and another comes in and picks 1 of them off. So MCanning already starting to get the bad side of this trade. 2 of his Immortals are weak here and will be picked off by another shot. But Disruptors are very interesting because you don't want to commit onto Disruptors because you will simply die. That is the name of the game. So we now actually, I've never mentioned this, but MCanning is on double Robo for himself, so he's actually getting out a Warp Prism in 1 and still building up his Disruptor count. MCanning, though, down on supply. He does not have a 3rd base where Tesla does, so MCanning sort of being trapped in here by all these Disruptors. But if we look at the army supply, though, it seems that MCanning's army is a little more scary at this current moment because all his units are together. Oh, and a Disruptor hit actually going out for MCanning, managing to hit one of the Disruptors of Tesla. And these Disruptors are just going back and forth. Good blinks out of the way from MCanning to try and avoid any damage here, but some Disruptors have gone down here. So MCanning warping in more Blink Stalkers, and he's going to have to break out of this at some point because Tesla is just happily macroing now. He's on 3 bases. He's had the benefit of the gold base, and he's getting so many more units. If Tesla joins up all these units at the front with the units that he has back at his gold base, that army is going to be able to crush MCanning, and now MCanning actually being pushed back into a corner. Defending is very hard when Disruptors are playing offensive here, so MCanning breaking down these rocks to try and sneak around here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. The Stalkers are pushing forward. They're actually blinking on top, picking off the Disruptors of Tesla. Now MCanning launching his own Disruptor shots, connecting with the Immortals, picking off 1 of the Immortals, and now he's got a superior Blink Stalker count, so he's just focusing down all the Disruptors of Tesla. And so MCanning has taken a great fight here, but Tesla has a great amount of reinforcements that if they were there in that fight, MCanning would not have been able to win that fight. This is a whole nother army for Tesla here. MCanning's going to need some great fights here. Now, the Disruptor numbers have evened up, and they're actually in the favor of MCanning right now. Well, it's 4-4 right now. So now we've got Blink Stalkers moving in. The Blink Stalkers for Tesla use their blinks. So 3 or 4 Stalkers picked off there with a Disruptor shot. Another one fired, but the Stalkers blink out of that one. So McCanning taking some very good trades here right now and trying to get up his own third base, so he'll come back into this game. And if he can take this third base and hold it, he will not be in a terrible position. Actually using a warp prism over to the right to take a fourth base, which Tesla would never expect. And now Tesla trying to push up this ramp here, but the disruptors on ramps are something you never want to try to push up into. Chokes and disruptors mean a very, very bad time. Okay, so now Tesla actually seemingly going to try and pressure the natural of McCanning here, but disruptor shots are moving out. Oh, a great connection for Tesla, but a return disruptor shot coming out of McCanning, and these shots are insane here. Another disruptor moving out from McCanning is going to connect. It picks off all of the disruptors for Tesla here. That it was such a clutch disruptor shot, and all the immortals are incredibly bruised for Tesla. Another insane disruptor shot going out, picking off 2 immortals there, and McCanning has taken an amazing fight here. Those disruptor shots are absolutely insane for McCanning. He's kept his disruptor count, but we actually see on this side of the map, Tempest. Tesla said, what could make this game possibly more crazy? And he decided Tempest. But if we actually pay attention here, so with these Tempest, if Tesla manages to build a good count, he'll be in a great position here, but this gold base is mined out. He's got some of his tech across the map, and now McCanning's pushing into this third base of him. Sure, he sees that he's going to see this Tempest, and he actually does not have enough anti-air to take that on right now. 2 injured Stalkers in a few sentries cannot take on a Tempest supported by disruptors here. So Tesla is going to hold on to this natural base here, and now all of his reinforcements are coming, so he will not be able to be pressured in. And now a very important note here. Well, a few notes actually. It is 2 bases now to 4 bases by all means. McCanning's bases are much more fresh. He has mined out the main base, but he's got really 3 somewhat fresh bases, at least 2 completely fresh ones here. Whereas Tesla is now starting to long distance mine here, as he never threw down a third base close to his actual main base here. So now that this gold base has started to run out, he's in quite a bad position here. Now these Stalkers on the high ground are going to be able to possibly try and pick off this one Tempest. Tesla using this Tempest to try and jockey for position here. Put pressure on McCanning and force him to spend resources he wants. And of course, why not? Tesla saying, okay, I guess I'm a bit behind on the economy. You know how I can catch up on that? Taking this gold base. So he is not going to give up this position here anytime soon. And Tesla has actually gotten a Templar Archives. So he's got +3 attack, and he's going to warp in. He's going to morph 3 Archons here. And that will make such a strong army for Tesla, particularly how it's going to be +3 attack versus +2. But oh no, a huge disruptor shot coming out from McCanning. Oh, but a return disruptor shot coming out of Tesla here. Disruptors are just having great connections with each other, so there's really not many disruptors left in this fight. So now we have Archons versus Stalkers and Immortals, with the one Tempest trying to do as much as it can, but the Tempest shoots very slowly, and it seems McCanning is going to be able to take the advantage here as he has worn down Tesla. He withered the storm of Tesla engaging by taking great engagements. So it seems that this game's just going to be over. 2 disruptors were going to pop out, but the pylon takes them down, and McCanning takes this game after an insane Protoss versus Protoss here. Thank you guys for watching. This has honestly not been my best casting here, as I'm not a Protoss player, if you could tell from this game, and it was such an insane game. It was hard for me to tell what was going on, but thank you for watching. I shall see you guys next time. If you have casting feedback, feel free to let me know, and I'll make any adjustments that I can. I'm always trying to improve. Or if you like the content, feel free to subscribe, as I'm always trying to put out casts here. And I'm not a huge Protoss versus Protoss fan, but this was an insane game, so see you guys next time.